Oh, that's icy. All the doors are frozen shut. Right, let's go get some wood. So I'm out by one of the chicken sheds because my mum's partner told me about this dead tree here. I think he said it was a dead ash. Can't remember, but it's a hardwood and it's going to burn really nice. So I'm going to try and fell that without it hitting me on the head, because it's like 7 meters tall. So got my trusty buck saw, gonna get that set up and try and get a bit of wood. The rule is, firewood gets you warm 3 times. Once when you collect it, once when you process, and once when you burn it. And I'm sweating, but it feels like my fingers are going to fall off. So it's going to take a lot of energy sawing up that tree. So I went and grabbed some just dry little sticks from in the wood. I'm just going to get this running, and then I'll go get a couple of logs off that tree and get them banged in. So this place is warming up while I'm sawing. Got my coffee, it's time to cut this bad boy up. I'm going to crack on, my toes are already freezing and feel like they're going to snap off. So the quicker I can cut this log, the better. To the big ones now. Got those 2 to do, which is probably going to use more energy than the rest of that did. I'll have to take a couple breaks on that one. Tell you what though, sun's coming through the trees. It's looking amazing. Right, I'm frozen on the outside and sweating on the inside. Of my clothes, obviously, not my flesh. That'd be weird. Anyway, that's all the wood that I got out of that tree. I've separated it up. These are the much bigger logs. A little bit too big for my burner, so I'm going to split them. Also, split wood burns a lot better. As you can imagine, if you put a piece of wood on like that, it's kind of hard for the flames to actually get into the wood and ignite it. Whereas if it's split, you've got all these rough edges and it's just a lot easier to light. I'm not going to split all of it because it is good to have a full log, because when you put a full log on, it will just sit smouldering for ages, which is a good way to just keep rebooting the fire, so when I forget about it and it goes out, it's quite easy to get it going again. But these are absolute chunky bastards, so I'm going to try and split some of these down. God, they're freezing. They're absolutely freezing. Never experienced that before. Usually, the lightest little swing and that sticks into that post, but because it's frozen, it just bounces out. Took a fair bit of welly. Anyway, that's that all split down now. That'll burn extremely well because it's exposed the really dry inner bit of the wood. So you might notice that I'm in a t-shirt now. I just spoke to Mum's partner. It wasn't an ash tree, it was an elm tree. And he was saying just how warm that burns, which makes sense because it must be like 30 degrees in here. Absolutely sweating. I think I'm going to leave the fire on nice and low and just go for a wee walk through the woods because it's really sunny out there, so it'd be nice to just go a wee walk. Tell you what, it's going to be a shame when that tree goes. It's quite a big one. And it's got an awful lot of rot down the bottom there. Poor thing. But of course when it goes, it will clear the canopy and you might find new baby trees grown, hopefully. Although the deer tend to decimate them. They don't tend to grow very well here. Because these beech trees, they drop thousands and thousands of seeds. And during the spring, you can see so many baby saplings. But the leaves are quite delicious. For both deer and human, they're a good edible. So often when I'm in woods that I know I'm going to visit again, I'll stand up deadfall against trees like that. So now it's perfectly good firewood because it's been there a couple of years. So this one's coming home with me and I'm going to saw it up and add it to my pile. Going to make a chai, but I'm running out of time. It's very much getting dark. Doesn't look it on camera, but it is quite dark. So I'm going to go for a bath. So for my bath, I need a bucket, fire lighter, some kindling, a couple logs, a saw, a towel, cloth, and a couple torches and a lighter. And you'll see why. So I'm hoping I can film this because it's getting kind of dark, but I'm sure I'll manage. So I'm walking with my bucket of stuff because my bath happens to be in the woods. And I am sorry for the video quality. The phone's obviously trying to compensate for the fact that it's dark as hell in here. That's my bath there. Don't get me wrong, I can have a bath in my mum's house, at least while I'm still here, but there's something a bit more special about having a bath down by the river. So first step, get all that leaves and crap out, get water from the river with my bucket, fill it up, and then light a fire underneath. Tell you what, there's not many people that think about going for a bath in the woods in the dark, but I do and I absolutely love it. I'm going to get this fire running and then clean it out, and then I'm going to have to go and hunt some wood. I mean, this is enough just to get it going, but I'm going to need a fair amount of wood because my mum got in the river today. She's crazy, and she was saying it was just under 2 degrees. Last year it didn't go under 5 degrees the entire winter. Right, fire's on. Let's get some water and swirl this out. Love all the sparkles. Right, gotta try and not get in the water. Also, you'll notice my bath is going to be the colour of beer, but that's just Scottish water for you. Slight problem, it's not draining because the outlet is completely frozen. It's starting to work. Kind of a little bit of water flowing through now. I'm definitely starting to realise I don't live like most people. There was literally ice on the side of the bath, so it's not going to be easy cleaning this out. It's really dark now, but fire's on, plugs in, time to fill it up from the river. Told you it looked like beer. Right, now we just need to collect a load of wood, because it is absolutely freezing. Bit of deadfall like that. Problem is, everything I put on smokes because it's covered in ice crystals. There's not a lot I can do about it, but at least the wood on the inside is nice and dry. It is dark and it is very, very cold. I cannot wait to get in this bath, it's going to be incredible. So in the summer it would usually take 20 minutes, half an hour to warm up. But of course the water wasn't like 1.5 degrees Celsius, so it might take a little while. It's still cold, but I can hold my hand in it. But what is crazy, I took this bucket of water out as the last bucket, because I always keep one to the side in case the fire gets out of hand. And it's got ice forming on it already. It is freezing! Definitely chose one hell of a day to have a bath outside. It's getting there. You can see steam coming off it now. It's definitely getting warmer. And no, that isn't the door from Titanic that saved Rose. That's my little wooden seat, basically. Because the bottom of the bath gets way too hot, so I made that out of scrap wood at the start of the summer. It's not the prettiest thing. It's a lot less smoky now, which is good, because you really don't want smoke lifting over the bath and then you're just breathing in the whole time. I think that's enough firewood on there to keep it warm while I'm in it. I hope. My head's going to be here and there's ice there. Anyway, it's almost time to get in. Oh, it's not as warm as I would have hoped it to be. Oh, I've got in way too early. Oh, I think it just felt warm in comparison to the air. I've got no choice now. I'm not getting dressed. Oh god, this better warm up quick. Otherwise it's going to be a very cold bath. Oh my god. Please warm up. Oh, look at my breath. It's freezing. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And of course, I apologise for the sound of the river. There's not a whole lot I can do about that. I know it's probably annoying. It doesn't have to make you feel alive though. It does make you question whether or not you want to be alive. Whoa, there's definitely still plenty of fire. I mean, there's still ice on the edges of the bath. That's how cold it is. I think I'm going to have to get out. It's just not getting warm. I can feel shivers running from my body now, which isn't good. I mean, the fact that there's a bucket of water next to me with ice on it, the fire doesn't stand much chance, to be honest. And every bit of my body that is outside of the water is absolutely freezing. So I think I'm going to have to abandon ship on this one. Get out and get dressed, because I am actually shivering. There's still fire down there. It's just not enough. It really isn't. It's slowly getting warmer, but I am worried that it could just be that I'm acclimatising and actually getting very, very cold. And I should get out before my brain shuts down and then I can't think properly. So I'll see you at the van for a chai tea. Goodbye bath. I don't think I'll be getting in here until the spring. That was awful. So I've just got back to the van and I'm so painfully cold. In fact, I don't know if you can tell, but my hair is slightly frozen, which is just madness. Right, I'm not making a chai because I don't know if you can tell, but I might have got a little bit too cold. So I really haven't got time to crush in spices and stuff. So decaf tea it is. That was a terrible idea. I used that bath quite a lot in the... Oh, God, I can barely speak. I used that bath a lot in the... Oh god. Tell you what, it's not a good sign when your brain's not working. I used that bath a lot in the summer and the autumn, but in the winter it's a different thing. So if you imagine the water at the top was trying to freeze and the water underneath was trying to get heated by the fire, so it just wasn't getting hot. And I felt like it was hot because it was hotter than the air, but that's not saying a lot. I have definitely got far too cold. My strategy now is going to be to get under the covers and drink my tea. So I'll see you guys in a bit. I actually got so shaken. I'm trying to hold the phone still, and I just can't. Yeah, not a good idea. If you're going to get in the water, make sure it's hot. Don't just put your freezing cold hands in and think it's hot. And make sure your van's warm when you get back. Oh my god. Ugh. Okay, so I haven't filmed for 2 days because that bath royally messed me up. I think I actually got full-blown hypothermia and it was a very stupid idea. Basically, after that last bit of footage of me shivering, having a laugh because in hindsight I was a bit delirious, I continued to shiver violently and like, I don't mean shiver, I mean shudder and spasm and everything. And I must have done that for just over 2 hours. At the same time I was googling what to do and it was saying drink more water and stuff, so I had a cup of tea, wrap up in loads of layers, and then I remember googling like what you're supposed to do if it won't stop. And yeah, it said get to the hospital because they're going to have to treat you for hypothermia. But I blacked out while reading that, which I didn't realise until I woke up, and then I looked at my phone and it was locked. But then when I unlocked it, I was looking at the symptoms and what to do next, and I had no memory of doing that. And then I blacked out again. I think it's possible I blacked out about 3 times, which is horrendous. It's really not good news. You can end up with permanent muscle damage, brain damage, all sorts of stuff. So I learnt a lot that day, to be honest. I've done loads of cold water swimming. I know the signs of hypothermia, and it's like when I was in the bath, I knew that it was getting a bit dangerous and a bit silly and things weren't feeling right, so I got out. But what I hadn't kept in mind was that the air temperature was around -5, -6 degrees. So it was that 10-15 minutes of getting out and drying off and getting back to the van that probably really messed me up. Because typically, you know, if you were to do cold water therapy, you would get out and you'd get all warmed up, you'd have some porridge and a cup of tea already ready, and then you'd warm yourself up really quickly, but that is not what I did at all. The reason I think that I messed up so badly was because I sat for almost an hour waiting for the water to warm up. And in that time, I'd already got really cold. My hands were like blocks of ice. So obviously if you've got blocks of ice for hands and you stick them in cold water feels pretty warm. So I thought it was warm. And then when I got in, obviously I was completely naked in the cold air. So the water felt warm to my body as well, but it wasn't. I don't know what the temperature was. I'm guessing it was probably somewhere between 5 and 8 degrees, which is not a bath at all. Huge mistake on my part. Very risky, very stupid, entirely my fault. So it was going to be a day in the life of kind of video, but the rest of the day was just spent shivering in bed and blacking out. Once I'd finally stopped shivering, I managed to eat some food and then just went to sleep because I was exhausted. And the next day I woke up and it felt like I'd been hit by a bloody train. Every part of my body was aching, my pelvis was in agony, my legs were really sore, my head was pounding. So the whole of that day was a complete and utter write-off as well. So I'm really only back to normal now and able to document and tell you guys what actually went on. So pro tip, don't be having baths in -5 degree weather. I mean, I can't remember a winter that looked like this. Like, it looks like it's snowed, but it hasn't snowed. It's just layer upon layer upon layer of frost. It's like half an inch of frost. But anyway, we're gonna get back to the van build stuff instead of this stupid almost killing myself videos. I'm all for cold water therapy, but only when I decide to do it, and I wasn't planning on doing cold water therapy that day, because really you should only be in the water for a minute, minute and a half. If you're that Wim Hof guy, you can stay in there for probably a week, but not me. I'm not trained in that whatsoever. So anyway, I'm gonna mark the end of the video. I hope that was somewhat entertaining and a bit of a lesson for everyone. Not that anyone would really do that. Why would anyone go for a bath in -5 degrees in the dark in the middle of winter in a cold bath? I don't know, but I did. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching.